Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm the founder of the Transformation Center, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. And, at the center, I love to host practitioners who do different kinds of workshops and classes. We have sound baths in the backyard in the nice months. And in addition, I have individual sessions. So I'm a transformation coach, and I'm a shamanic energy practitioner. So I do those one-on-one healing and coaching sessions as well. And we're going to put up the information, which has our website, which is transformationcenterct.com. And all the events are on there. You can read about them. You can sign up right online for all of them. And, every month we have one recurring event, which is the second Tuesday of the month, which is a shamanic clinic. And this is a wonderful way to get an introduction to what a shamanic healing is. It's only 30 minutes, and it's done on Zoom, and you just get a little taste of what's possible. And there's no charge. It's a community service. You can make a donation if you wish. And there's other practitioners besides myself that participate in that. So I'd love to see you there. Okay, and everything at the center is really based on helping you develop a greater self-awareness. So you can really learn more about yourself. You can transform your limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. And really from there, you can consciously create a life that you love. That's really the purpose of it. It's all about you. So we'd love to see you. So meanwhile, we're here with Conscious Conversations, and I'm very excited that tonight my guest is Virginia Juliano. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make it today. And I'm going to read a little bit about you before we get started for our audience who doesn't know you. Okay. So, I met Virginia not that long ago at one of our holistic health networking events, breakfast. It's called Tribe TLC. And this is a wonderful way to meet like-minded people, but not just, there's so many different types of people that you can meet, and I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a really eclectic group, and everyone's very interesting.
Yeah. So that's how I get a lot of my guests. I love it. So Virginia Juliano helps right brain people with left brain thinking. Wow, that's incredible. What a service, I happen to be not right brain, but I know a lot of people who are, so that's perfect. So as a marketing strategist, business advisor, and a strategy coach, Virginia guides creative and holistic business owners to expand and transform their business through one-on-one consulting. And we're going to put up her slide with her contact info, so you can reach out to her if you have any questions, and you probably do some type of intro
yes,
offers.
On my website, you can book a 20-minute free consultation.
Yes, that's great. A lot of people do that, which I think is perfect. Excuse me. So Virginia has an MBA and a long career as a marketing executive in major media companies, including Showtime Networks. That was interesting. I'm sure there's a story there. And she's also an artist, so I didn't even know that, with a love of learning and a personal interest in alternative healing modalities. All right, so we share that.
That's the connection, yeah.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, again, welcome.
Thank you.
And I love to start with a question, like, how did you get into doing what you're doing now?
Sure, that's a great question. So it was an interesting journey. So I started off, I was a liberal arts, communication arts major in undergrad, and I had a career in media and publishing, and then I went back to school at night to go to business school, got an MBA in marketing and management, and started working at Showtime Networks, where we were doing a lot of very expansive programming and business expansion, and was there for a while. Decided to leave to create a startup, which I now have 6 patents and several more pending.
Wow.
And then also started to do consulting. And as that started to evolve, I started to see that there was a gap with people who I had an affinity for, creatives, holistics, who were very passionate about what they did, but often didn't know where to start in terms of marketing themselves or getting to the next level. So I say that I am able to speak business and creative, and I can straddle both worlds because of the left-right brain thing. And so I'm able to translate for them and help them get their business to the next level.
Oh, wow. So, okay, so are you left brain or right brain?
I think I'm squarely down the middle.
Sounds like
I think bilateral is what they call it. I don't know exactly, but it depends on the day, I would say. So sometimes I really lean heavily into the creative, big picture side, but then I'm really good at organizing information and helping structuring very complex problems into easy to take in chunks. So for that helps with the creatives a lot, because a lot of them are not able, and holistics able to take in a spreadsheet. That's not their their game. So helping to work with them one-on-one to give them the tools that they need and the structure and the frameworks that will help them focus their efforts, prioritize, and stop the endless spinning, and achieve their goals.
Huh. Well, that's fascinating. So I'm just curious about your this. What did you call it down the middle?
Bilateral.
Bilateral. So because you kind of started out, it sounds originally more in the creative endeavors, your education, your initial work, and did you feel like you were still like bilateral then, like you had the left brain?
Yeah, I think I started off my career. I wanted to be a writer, and I still write quite a bit, and in film. And but then I wanted to play it safe, and I got a corporate job, and but was really still, it was in the creative fields. Mm-hmm. So I was still associating with creative people, and so that was enjoyable for me. I would say also that I have my background going back way farther has always been sort of a translator. Which makes me a good marketer because I can translate to different audiences. So my dad is an immigrant from Italy, and my mom was U.S. born. So they both had different, levels of understanding of language, and so I had to tailor my my communications to communicate with my parents and between them too, and so I believe that is really the core of what makes me a good marketer, and also a translator for creative and holistic business owners to the business world.
Oh, wow, that is so interesting. So your brain, I mean, it might have started out one way, but then it definitely got kind of formed when you were filling this role for your parents. You were the go-between.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah,
Sounds
and then
like it.
And my positions in media, I was always sort of between the business side, the sales side, and the creatives, and articulating between the two and trying to get things to be created that would help with sales efforts. So that it was a natural fit for my skill set and my sort of temperament.
Yeah, it almost sounds like the ideal situation. Like you discovered that you could do both and be that bridge.
Yeah. And I think I've furthered that even more now that I'm sort of leaning into working with, creatives directly and healers directly who I'm, I have an affinity for what they do, and I understand what they're contributing, and trying to help them isolate what makes them different, how to position themselves, meaning how they look in the marketplace, and then also how they talk about themselves to differentiate them from others in their sphere, and giving them tools and positioning statements, which then flows into all of their marketing communications, and then really helps them have a foundation for elevating their business.
Yeah, because that's terrific, because I think most of us, speaking not as a creative but as a holistic healer, it's not really my favorite thing, marketing. even though my background we were sharing earlier, that's what I did in my corporate career was marketing. But I feel like, and I've talked to a lot of people about this. One thing is, it's like we don't like to talk about ourselves.
Yes.
It's like we
That
don't
is
like
true.
to.
Even marketers don't like to talk about themselves. So I think it's a natural thing. But it's necessary. So what I also try to bring is to make sure that whatever marketing we're doing or, the strategic plan that we're working on, that it really stays true to the business owner and their values and is done in a way that makes them feel comfortable. So there's a lot of different ways to get the word out there, which is really important. And so, yes, they have sometimes marketing doesn't sound too great for them. It rubs them the wrong way to talk about that stuff, but it's really necessary to get the word out.
Yeah, no, I totally can see that because, who wants to be the best kept secret? I mean, personally, I just rely on word of mouth more than anything else. And I think another part of it issue with, I don't know about creatives, maybe, but I think definitely with holistic, with healers and maybe coaches too, I'm not sure, is that we can have a limiting belief about money.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've heard that a lot.
That in the spiritual world, there's some limiting belief that, well, if we're doing spiritual work, that we shouldn't be compensated for it, or we should be compensated very little for it,
right?
Because it's not tangible, even though everybody sees the evidence how effective it is. So I think that might be shifting.
It is, and that's part of the work that I do with clients is really to try to get them to uncover these limiting beliefs and give them sort of empirical evidence of, the value that they bring and how they should be talking about themselves and presenting themselves and building the foundation for them to do that with confidence. Mm-hmm. So that once they have that and then they have, they're able to talk about it, they can feel more confident about getting the word out.
Yeah, that's great. And I think we'll have one question about that, but then another thing is that, I'll just share what helped for me was the realization that I was helping other people. So it's like because that's usually the motivation for a lot of us is why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so once you understand that you can help more people by marketing or by getting the word out, however you want to say it, that's sometimes a stumbling block, and that could be, you can remove that stumbling block by saying, but you want to help more people, so you got to advertise or market or whatever you want to call it. Put yourself out there.
And not just getting the word out there, because that's a big part of it, but it's also being able to scale in a way that is sustainable. So really thinking about the operational, limitations or constraints and growing in a way that is smart, that you can handle, and that is also in balance with the lifestyle that you're trying to have or trying to achieve, and the types of people you're trying to help. And these are the same things that have brought me to this path as well. So I know that from a very deep place myself.
Wow, what a great point. Yeah, no, I love that. That's because you're walking the walk. You're there.
Yeah, I mean, it took me some time and several evolutions, obviously, but I think we're all finding our path, and it's wonderful when I can help healers and creatives, and as well as the people that they're helping too. So that's how I feel is my contribution to that equation.
Yeah, it's that ripple effect.
Yeah,
and the more. Yeah, but I love what you said about doing it in an authentic way for whoever you're working with, because if you're making them uncomfortable, what's the point?
Exactly. Exactly. I try to make them excited about sharing, what they do, because it's going to help people. So, and sometimes, they need some help to clarify their vision, or, they're all over the place. They're expending energy in many different places. and they really need someone to help them say, you know what, that's great, but we need to do this first. This is imperative. This is, on the critical path to growth. So we need to do this first, focus all your attention on this, and then we can move on to that. So it's kind of giving structure to their process.
Yeah, and for that, I'm sure you add accountability to the
Absolutely.
to the process. Which is a coach that's really helpful for people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. So what would you say would be your ideal client? Can you have anybody in mind?
The fact that I have an MBA, fundamentally, I've been trained to work with every type of business, and know the questions to ask to get to the root of the issues and improve upon things. But that being said, creative businesses like artists, authors, makers of all kinds, designers, those are people I enjoy working with. And on the holistic wellness side, everything from naturopathic doctors to Reiki practitioners, yoga studios, acupuncture coaches, all the gamut. So I've, in the last few years, done my own sort of exploration into these modalities and have been much more opened up to these energetic types of treatments that I, in the past, would not have been. So, So that's also what has driven me to be a part of helping those people as well.
Yeah, that's terrific. So you've been trying different things, and and you feel the effect.
I do. And it's really a wonderful thing to explore. I keep feeling that there's more and more layers, so one thing leads to another thing, and then I find out about another sort of modality that I want to explore, and I think they all help each other, right? And they all help you holistically as a person. So I'm interested in growth of all kinds. So intellectual, creative, energetic. So that's what gets me excited, and I'm always eager to learn more.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Because I think if you're working with somebody, it's always helpful to know more about what they do and have to experience it yourself.
Right.
Is there any specific thing you can share that you enjoyed getting out of any of the activities that you've done, any of the modalities?
I've been doing yoga for a long time, which is a great practice. I recently have done some breath work and some craniosacral treatment, also sound healing. So these are all the things that I've sort of explored recently that have been, I feel, giving me some great grounding and a really great stable foundation to sort of expand my business, in fact. So.
Because it helps you be more of who you are.
Yes.
Was it something specific that was helpful that, say you were going to market this person?
Yeah.
What would you want people to know?
That's a great question. I think it's hard to answer that because I think it's complex, and it goes it sort of bleeds into all areas. So I think I look at it very holistically, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get across for the practitioners. It's not necessarily a one-to-one sort of,
like a silver bullet.
Right.
Yeah.
This is part of a whole process and of just self-development, which,
Yeah, personal development, some healing.
Yeah, and I feel like it all plays a part, and it all plays a part in maybe at different times in your life. So, it's not necessarily an easy question. So that was a tough one, but it's definitely something that, you kind of have to see against who's in your market set, who's in your geography, how do you, what do you bring to the table that's different in your essence? How do we draw that out? How do we distill that down to your business objectives and your goals and your vision, and really, really flesh that out so that you, as the business owner, are very solid in it. And then it's easier to translate that to the public and to your prospective clients.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way of describing it, because you have to be pretty clear yourself on what it is that you're offering.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of part of the work. Yeah.
Yeah, so you take people through that.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific process, or is it's not one size fits all?
It's not one size fits all. It's definitely tailored, but I do have developed sort of a process. I call it the Strategic Essentials Program.
Okay.
And it's for creative professionals and holistic wellness providers, and it's a 6-month transformational process that goes through these different phases. So it's foundational clarity is the first stage, and that we map out a lot of the underlying underpinnings of the business and their vision. And then we go from there to sort of a strategic roadmap. So it's kind of a marketing plan and an operations plan that really helps to prioritize and give sequence to things, and also map out the amount of resources and expenditure that might be associated with those. And then also sort of a continual collaboration is phase 3, where it's an ongoing check-in, accountability process where to keep the momentum going. So.
Okay, and then assessment at some point.
That goes into definitely in the collaborative ongoing support.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Because that's part of it. It's analysis, it's revisiting. Things change all the time in business, so reevaluating, and then redirecting sometimes.
Sure, yeah, sure, that can happen. So do you do any market research around for any of your clients, or is that something totally separate?
I do some, but I also am able to connect if that's what they want. I have a lot of resources that do much more quantitative analysis, but I do some in order to really get an idea of the marketplace that they're working in and what they're trying to market. And but I also, that's another thing. I'm not necessarily an implementer, so I can help with creative strategy, social media strategy, and planning. And then I have a lot of resources where I can help if they don't want to do it themselves, that they can hire people to do that stuff.
Oh, okay, but, that makes sense. Yeah. You're not going to be posting.
I'm not the person who does the posting, but I can definitely give them a plan of action on how to proceed in social, how what would ring true for their business, and what would resonate with their audience, their potential target. So
yeah. So do you find that most people, like in my situation, like I basically do this part-time, so it's not a full-time thing, do they have the resources like financially to be able to do this type of marketing or this type of business thing that you offer?
Well, this could be, it depends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is a booming market on people trying to focus on their healing and energy work and self-development. So, it's a question of are they able to take advantage of that booming? So it's definitely an investment. Right. It's an investment in their business. I offer, sort of installment, billing so that it makes it a little bit more affordable and accessible. But I think that that's part of it. Like, there's all this growth in this industry across the board, and if you're stuck in your silo, you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. So you're kind of leaving business on the table if you're not focused on your growth.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think there's a lot of fear might be too strong a word, maybe just reluctance to invest.
Yes.
Because in a way, when you're working for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, you're investing in yourself.
Yes.
it's it's easier for us to invest in other people, other products,
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and listen, sometimes it's, it's just not the right time or, and I try to, keep relationships and, plant seeds. And when they're ready, we can move forward, so, but they have to be ready and it has to be the right time for them. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
It's
a process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And especially in this world, it's very, like it takes time in the sense that it unfolds.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I probably would be your ideal client because like I don't set goals,
Oh yes, you're definitely that's exactly what I love to do with you. What I would love to do with you and others is that to really kind of clarify and put some structure around it. And I'm not saying that it's set in stone, everything is flexible, but to start that way, to start that process and start the discipline of that is sometimes, difficult, if not impossible, to do it on your own.
Yes. Yeah. And you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So this is great. I mean, this is very inspirational.
Great. Thank you.
I think we're going to have to wrap up in a minute, but is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd love to share?
I'm really excited about like working with this kind of clientele. It's really given a whole new sort of breath into my career. And, I've also, in working with these types of clients, I've really double down on my own creative output as well. Cool. And I just recently got some space to paint and do some writing. And, I've been doing it out of a little corner of my home office for 25 years. And now, I have a dedicated space to it. So, it's inspired me to really move forward with my passions as well.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting.
And that helps me with my clientele too.
Oh,
because,
absolutely. It's all connected.
Yeah. And I'm able to really understand what they're going through.
Yeah. And if you're doing it yourself, and you're manifesting what you want in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it catches, it's like being in the flow. It starts moving forward even faster.
Yeah, that's what I like to do, is to kind of move fluidly between the left and the right hemispheres of the brain.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to know that this is possible. I don't think I've ever met anybody quite like you. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So I love your energy and thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, and we'll keep the conversation going, I'm sure, and we'll see you soon. And thank you to our audience for joining us today. And here we are in the new Verso Studio space at the Westport Library. Thank you for hosting us, and see you next time.